Philippines. He actually has experience playing abroad. He was shining in Malaysia with Todak. They ended up in the 5th to 6th slot at the end of the playoffs in Season 13. He was one of the gold laners highlighted for the season, and now coming back to Lazy Esports in the second half of 2024 to become an MDL champion. It was a legendary series. Yeah, it's a crazy history for the roster of this present-day AP brand.
Yeah.
Yes, as much as they are rookies coming into this one, basically MDL graduating, a whole team graduating into MPL.
Yeah.
They're not really new. Waiting into MPL,
Yeah.
they're not really new players,
Yeah.
right? They have a lot of stories on their own, basically all the way back from amateur. A lot of stories on their own, basically all the way back from amateur coming into this one. Feels like they just jumped all around, and then they meshed together on the ONIC side, and then they flew over to Lazy, and now here.
They've been reigning the amateur scene. And I actually can't believe that it's been so long ago that we've seen Shizu alongside the Bren Euphoria lineup, the one with Eugene and Yoshino. I mean, you see Yoshino, he's in a different team now. Eugene probably somewhere else as well. But right, that at the time, it felt like they were one of the top teams that people were watching out for in the amateur scene. But now, even though they've parted ways, even though they're in different teams now, right now, I cannot believe that they've actually made it this far and that they've been holding on to that lineup for a couple of years, and that finally they have a chance to prove that they can go head-to-head, toe-to-toe with the MPL teams as well.
Yeah, and we've been saying that a lot especially for the international viewers. If you're familiar with the last season of SBS, if you were watching the Filipino broadcast, well, you're an international viewer. If you're watching the Filipino broadcast, congratulations to you. But we would say that Lazy Esports are a team to really watch out for. That a lot of MPL teams or teams in the Philippines actually tout Lazy Esports as an MPL-worthy team. So to see them finally try and prove that on this stage, I think there's really a very good reason as to why Brigid is so excited, and why I'm excited too.
Of course. And an MPL team that basically is on level with a majority of MPL teams, not just in the Philippines, but across the world.
Oh yeah,
That is saying something.
I think we also can't just limit the entire idea of MDL for AP Bren. Even Zaida, right? Like he also came from there, and now he's facing up another former MDL player. So there's a lot of history. It's fairly interesting to see how things will turn out.
That's right. So for the meantime, we do have an all-access segment right now, and I wonder who we're gonna get to talk to here. One of our hosts definitely has a lot to say here, as well as one of our players.
Thank you, guys. Jamie here once again. We have all access with none other than James Panks of AP Bren. James, a lot of folks are so excited to have you here after your championship run in MDL. Ano yung nafe-feel mo ngayon na nandito ka na sa MPL?
Ako po, sobrang saya kasi matagal ko na nga pong pangarap to.
Imagine that. Pangarap mo to and nandito ka na. Your first game is about to begin. Ano yung nafe-feel mo sa first game mo ngayon?
Excited po, tas may konting kaba kasi first time ko nga lang din.
I love that. May content ka ba? Pero you know what? I'm so excited for you. I know kayang-kaya nyo to. Now, ito yung tanong ng maraming tao dito, James Panks. Ang makakalaban mo mamaya ay MDL champ din. Confident ka ba na matatalo mo siya, si Zaida?
Well, let's see na lang po.
I love that short answer. We shall see. Hans, what does Zaida have to say about that? Over to you.
Nako, eto na. Men, kino-coach na siya. Siyempre, kasama ko naman dito yung sinasabi ni Jamie na MDL champion din na ngayon ay part na ng TNC Pro Team. Walang iba kundi si Zaida. Okay, Zaida. Sinabi ni James Panks na let's see daw kung matatalo. Ikaw ba, tatanungin kita, gano'n ka kasigurado, anong percentage na matatalo mo si James Panks at ang AP Bren sa labang to?
Confident lang talaga ako talunin sila ngayon, lalo na maganda yung nilaro namin kahapon.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it, right? We saw it from yesterday na maganda ngayon naging laban nyo kontra sa defending champions ONIC Philippines. Kamusta ba ang team ngayon? Kasi it was a really tight game from yesterday. Ano bang mga adjustments yung na-realize nyo heading forward into this match?
Marami kami natutunan nung laban namin kahapon. Kahit talo kami, masaya pa rin kami kasi nakasabay kami sa World Champs.
And now nakalaban mo or actually makakalaban mo si James Panks. Nagharap na ba kayo sa MDL before?
Nung season 2, nakalaban namin sila. Malakas din sila.
Okay. Respect. Alam mo, tatanungin na sana kita kung anong motivation or type of motivating quote ang ibibigay mo sa team mo. Pero lilipat na lang tayo sa kabila. Kasi ito, special request to eh. Special request to. Ayan. Vic, mic mo, ibitaw mo na. Okay, Salvic, ano bang mensahe mo sa team? Kasi maganda laro mo kahapon eh. Di ba? Maganda ba laro niya kahapon, boys? Maganda. Okay. Chamba lang. Okay. Vic, anong masasabi mo sa teammates mo heading into this match?
Maganda daw yung laro ko eh.
Walang yabang. Ano? Okay na yata yun. Sige, irekta na natin sa ating mga casters. Casters, ready natin. See.
You know, they're not really kids, but they acted like really young people today. Right?
Even the coaches for a moment, they looked like they were the young kids about to play. But it's fun. It's fun seeing how confident TNC really is after yesterday, and just the same how James Panks doesn't seem to be threatened at all facing against Zaida in this match.
Yeah, I'm really hoping here that James Panks has an all-star making performance. Similar to, even though it was overshadowed by a loss, Kozin was definitely highly commendable yesterday up against ONIC Philippines, even Lord JM. But James Panks, he is the man touted to have, or as the man as, with a man with a million moves. That's his moniker. That's a name that he earned in MPL Philippines. So hopefully we get to see that and we get to shout that at one point, because this guy could potentially be the future next big jungler in the world.
Yes, and that's a sentiment that actually is echoed by a lot of the people in the community internationally as well.
Oh,
And apparently we kind
I
of
forgot about this, my bad. My bad.
so if you were listening,
So if you were listening, what did I actually say?
what do we say here? What did Renmar say? Is James Panks the man with a million moves? Is he the man with 1,000 moves? Or maybe he needs a bit more work. Maybe he has 100 moves. Or is he the man who can't be moved?
I would like to apologize to our scriptwriters, Maui and Jem. Sorry for spoiling this portion of the poll. But yeah, hopefully you were listening to what I said about what James Banks' name is. I would, maybe it's letter D. It's also a great song.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we said that.
yeah.
Maybe one day he'll just wake up and, maybe he'll be missing
Or
the good old times.
Yeah, it could depend on him too if he wants to rebrand himself and think that he still has room for growth, or
Trillion moves.
a trillion moves, right? We didn't say the answer, right?
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, but at least now you know it's less than a trillion. So
Definitely less than a trillion.
right.
All right, so coming into this one, the big opponent that on the other side is definitely a team that the other, everyone else watched yesterday and really was applauding despite a 0-2 loss.
Yeah.
So that's saying something. And even they admitted that, you know what, we lost. We got swept, but we're happy about it. And that's not something that you say every day.
Yes.
So what did you think about the games yesterday for TNC that really was able to, that they were able to say this?
Well, for TNC Pro team, especially I think in that game number 2, you could really highlight just how strong they were. They went into it with a really good draft, good idea. The Barretts for Lord JM, the Matilda of Yaoi, the Alpha as well in the hands of Zaida. Everything was just meshing well up until it didn't. Unfortunately, that's where you get to see a little bit of the inexperience, maybe the still growing chemistry, the fact that you had Kirk and King Kong rushing the Lord. They decided to commit and help Lord JM, who missed his initiation, even though he landed like 99% of them throughout that game, and they decided to help Lord JM instead. So things like that, you could just learn with time and experience to just smoothen out and make sure that you're better with. But really, they said it best. They were able to dance toe-to-toe with ONIC Philippines. And that already means a lot.
Yeah, which is why it probably shouldn't come out once again against this team who similarly has been playing together for a very long time. But on the screens, wow,
Look at
Coach
that.
Imba DJ.
Yep.
Imba DJ, record holder apparently for most assists in a single game.
Oh, that's
I'm trying to remember when this was.
30 assists.
I believe it was in season 7, in that season where they were in Signal Ultra. I believe he was playing a Diggy and scored 30 assists.
Oh, okay, okay.
That sounds like it's right.
I could be wrong,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I will
yeah.
have to double check.
But that sounded like the Diggy era. So. And I mean, if he still had kills with the 30 assists, I don't know anymore. But while he's double checking that, yeah.
Imba DJ also plays a lot of Selena before. He used to play a
Also
lot of
the
Selena.
trap, just
So maybe
like-
the traps are assisting. I
Yeah.
actually forgot about that time already.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Imba DJ as a coach now definitely stood out
Yes.
for me yesterday with a very risky
Yeah.
Barat's pick.
Yeah.
But somehow they were able to really push it to a 7-0 advantage. And that really impressed me yesterday. And I wonder if, as a player, it's like no question, right? But as a coach, it feels like he is also improving day to day.
Yes, I admire the way they feel, or it feels like they thoroughly reviewed and studied ONIC, even in terms of the drafting patterns that they showed us yesterday, and how they were just able to clearly out-sustain them in the team fights which happened. And it didn't seem like they were surprised at all by even ONIC Philippines' flexibility themselves, because you know for a fact that they could do it. But right now, based on what TNC is showing us, they could be the ones to pull off the surprise this time around.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, I might be along the lines of they won't be that surprising in terms of their drafts. Besides the Barris picks, of course, they actually draft very similarly to the rest of the world in terms of the priorities. In game number 1, we were saying, wait, that's an ONIC PH draft. Game number 2, we were thinking, wait, that's a Liquid Indonesia draft. So they, TNC can really look at the world and say, you know what, we'll try to adapt it and play it to our style. But I won't turn off the potential that maybe there will be a surprise pickup there. And here's a surprise for you, Coach Pakbet stat, Rockhard.
Yeah, Coach Pakbet. He used to play a lot of Kimmy back in the days. And he scored a Savage in Season 3. That's not something you can do with a Kimmy a lot. That's not something that, you know, it's easy to walk away from a Kimmy usually. So I'm trying to remember how he got that Savage.
So now we kind of like have an understanding for all those who watched SBS even, as to why Kekedot probably idolizes Pakbet that much.
Yeah.
That
But
he changed his name.
Yes. So first of all, I would like to thank him for not using that name here.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. So for the international viewers, Kekedot, that's his actual name. This was the guy whose name was Pakbet during SBS.
Yes, that was him.
Because he loves his coach so much. That's literally it.
He idolizes him.
Yeah,
It's
he
easy to idolize
idolizes
this guy because he's also an MSC champ. Right,
Yeah.
way back in Execration days.
Yeah.
So it's easy to forget that sometimes these guys are top tier players as well. The guys that are on the on the booths, right? So it's something to keep in mind for you guys here. And for the other side as well, you also have to remember Zaida, a champion in his own right as well, back in his MPL days.
Yeah.
So these are, you know, stuff you gotta think about. I know it's easy to always just talk about Yawi, because, you know, internationally, you gotta talk about Yawi whenever he's on the team. But yeah, the teammates as well really do pack a punch.
I do think Zaida was actually consistent in terms of performance yesterday. I mean, I know a lot of us had our eyes on the return of Yawi, but even despite that, there were actually other players who really shined, who stepped up. I think in game number 1, clearly it was Kozen on the Moskov, who often showed some times wherein it felt like they were about to maybe turn things around. And even in game number 2, I think Lord JM. So from a viewer's perspective, maybe there was just a lack of I don't know, faster communication, like, oh, I'm going in, I'm gonna flicker, Daytona's welcome this guy or something, and there were like some sort of split decisions which were kind of hard to pull off. But other than that, if they just polish that, I can't say what TNC could probably achieve in this season.
Yeah, well, on the other end of the table, you got a squad in the new look AP Bren that even in SPS looked like they could have defeated Team Liquid Indonesia. That's how good this team is.
That's right. And we're going to see them walk all into the stage. Can't wait to see it. It's their dream. We're going to see it happen right now.
Please welcome our marshals for this matchup. It's Josh, Chico, Patrick, and JJ. Back to rise once more after yesterday's defeat. Today, can they know victory set up for TNC Pro Team? In the XP lane, Lord JM. In the jungle, Zaida. Their mid laner, Lancy. In the roam, Yowie. And their gold laner, Kozen. Making their MPL debut, made up of the MPL Philippines Season 4 Championship roster, the Young Guns of APBR. EXP, he's not over here, he's dead! Jungle, the man with a million moves, James Pounce! In the mid lane, Jove Skirt! Welcome back to MPL Philippines. In the room, it's Kekadot! The gold lane is Shizu. And welcome their esteemed coaches, Coach Jeff for AP Brand and Coach Imba DJ for TNC. This is TNC Pro Team versus AP Brand.
There we go. We got TNC Pro Team, Lord JM, Zaida, Lancy, Yowie, and Kozen. Again, we talked about it previously. They did lose, but they won the hearts of many.
And they were happy themselves with the way that they performed. What else could be said after their performance yesterday and now that they're about to face AP Bren, one of potentially the best matches for them to show off what they're made of and what they're capable of after learning a lot from facing the world champions.
I just want 3 games, 30 kills each game.
Oh my goodness.
And when I look at TNC, I can see a roster that could potentially pull that off. But I feel like they're so tricky because, again, they look at the world and say, we could do that too. While AP Brand, they're going to be coming in here with their own style, an introduction to the MDL Philippines Season 4 winning roster. The last time we saw an MDL team go to the MPL and shake things up in such a mean way, well, they eventually became the MPL Indonesia champions and went on to the grand finals of the M6 World Championship. So AP Bren has that going for them. They can look at the world, look at TLID and say, we could do that too.
That's right.
There's a parallel.
It's not that far off.
If they do get to do that, right? And this is AP Bren with an addition of, or their 4 coaches alongside them, and led by Coach Jeff, who, as you may know, if you're watching from Malaysia, previously was together with Homeboys. So, you know, the experience that Coach Jeff also has in his hands. He was formerly Coach Nobody, and he joked back then that if they won, he would become somebody or something like that. But then now he's here, he's back to Coach Jeff.
And yeah, we're gonna go throw it over to a ping test real quick. And yeah, 4 coaches if you didn't count them earlier. Let's watch what they're doing there on the stage with a ping test.
Di na masama, Chobs. Para sa dating RG Boy. Uy, kinain yung buff ko! Hello? Kaya ba? Hello, sa akin. Check. In-game sounds. In-game sounds lang. ML? Oo nga, no? Ay, hindi pa pala nakakonect ko. Okay na ako dito. Okay. Hello? Mahina ba yung boses ko? Check, mic check.
Hello, kaya ba?
Sa akin ka pa rin ba? Sa akin man. Dito.
Okay.
So first off, don't touch the
We're
buff.
looking a little different.
Yeah, we look a
there
little
we go.
different there. So don't touch his buff. And for who was he talking to, by the way, if he wasn't connected?
I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be funny if he was like that whole time he's just talking to himself.
Oh my
You know
god.
that.
Contrary to what I was expecting, ping tests seem to be a little more serious now.
It does.
They were like, what? They didn't want to give each other their buffs? In the ping check?
In the ping check, bro. I believe this is something that we're gonna look forward to a lot in the season.
agree.
So right now we are on to the matchup. They are definitely game face. Ping test is way over. And I would like to really think the TNC grew a lot more yesterday, but at the same time, we don't know. And for the Infinix keys to victory, Renmar, this is going to be something for you here.
Yeah. Well, for TNC Pro Team, definitely they are the more MPL experienced team in terms of the individual rosters. There, of course, they got a world champion with them, man. Come on. So flexing your experience against AP Bren, who will be desperate to show their moves. Maybe desperate is too strong a word, but they're definitely going to come in here with the goal of just showing the world what they can do. Why an entire roster of the MPL champions was brought up into AP Bren that was once filled with world champions. So it's your time to shine for both of these two teams. For TNC Pro Team, continue your strengths from yesterday. For AP Bren, show them why you became the MPL Philippines Season 4 champions.
Yeah, you don't need to show a million moves today. Maybe just a few hundred would suffice, maybe. But I don't know. You are up against a team that did give the current champions a run for their money. So
Right.
you might have to pull off all million today.
Yeah, it's day one for them, technically, right? So I don't know whatever plans they have up their sleeves, if they want to show them immediately in this game. But after being able to watch TNC yesterday just the same, I feel like they probably have an idea of what to do, aside the fact that they clearly know each other well enough after facing each other for quite a number of times prior MPL.
Yeah. Also, man, like, how do you balance having 4 coaches in a team?
That's
No.
amazing,
I wonder,
right?
like, there's a life coach, right? There's a head coach, there's a life coach, there's a there's a stats coach,
Is there a food coach?
Yeah, they have a head coach, an assistant coach, an analyst, and if I'm not mistaken, the other one's also filled as a statistician. I'm gonna have to double check like their actual.
Oh.
Yeah, they got a.
Are they listed?
Oh, they have a technical coach. Yeah, so it's head, assistant, technical, and then analyst.
Oh, so
They don't have a life coach.
the life
Or
coach
maybe
was
the life coach is all of them.
it's integrated.
Yeah.
all I mean, 4 coaches together.
At that point, you'd want a chef as well. Maybe add a guy, but they also might be multitasking that as well. But
Yeah.
definitely a lot of support for the young AP Bren lineup.
Yes.
And they will definitely need it, right? Despite being a champion in MDL, it does feel like it is going to be a different atmosphere for a
Yeah.
lot of these young players. Coming into this one of the strongest regions, the home of the champions in the world.
So it's probably really helpful to have coaches and some who already have experienced coaching MPL caliber teams. Like for Coach Bakbet, I think a lot of us are really familiar with his history. Like I know for quite some time he's been together with Lazy, but before that he was known to be alongside Omega back in the time, Barangay Omega, when everyone was just cheering Barangay Omega. And for Coach Jeff, as also previously mentioned, right? He was alongside Homeboys, an MPL team as well, internationally. So I think it's interesting to see. A lot of our teams currently, they really see to it that they adapt international strategies and styles.
Yeah, the cool thing about AP Bren is going on again with what you mentioned. If TNC Pro Team has a player lineup that has a lot of experience, AP Bren has a coaching lineup that has a lot of international experience too, really. And I'm sure it's also gonna be very beneficial for AP Bren, the fact that Shizo did have that one season with Todak in MPL Malaysia Season 13. Of course, he was playing with a former back-to-back MPL Philippines champion, Raflesh, as their roamer at that time. I'm pretty sure he got to learn some tricks from the legendary Chiku guys. So even though AP Bren they're really branded, and you can't escape the fact that they are the MDL team that made it to MPL, they have a lot of experience in the staff, within the players, that can really make you go, wait a minute, let's not undermine these guys. They might actually just beat us and do it in glowing fashion.
As much as we can like call them the actual rookies, they're the only rookies.
It's
for
in
the
a while.
season. They have there's so much depth to this team individually that it's really hard to dismiss them. And again, I guess the biggest factor that you have to consider is how do they actually play, right? And we're hoping that the pressure doesn't really come into them on that stage. Obviously, it's a very different stage from stuff that they played on, maybe except for Shizu, who did play internationally. But yeah, it's a new environment.
But I believe they won't be completely new to this. Even before heading into MPL, right, international tournaments here and there, they've been also able to participate under the banner of Lazy Esports. But speaking of experience, this is one of the statistics you have to take a note of when talking about James Panks. He has the highest total kills and average kills in the recent season of MDL.
There you go. I mean, how can you actually argue with the stats here? He does kind of just do everything that you need him to.
Million moves.
That's why he's called that, right? Exactly. That's why he really earned that through whole seasons in MDL Philippines.
Yep, and those are the, if I'm not mistaken, really mostly on the assassins, which pretty much a lot of junglers right now are deciding to utilize, not unless they pull off another similar to TNC's Mathilda Alpha Barrett's kind of like composition, which was more of a utility type of jungler, or I'd say it really depends on the point of the game where they want to play for, either the early or the late. So maybe they could depend their junglers on that. But I think we have another statistic for Zyda. Maybe we'll get back to it later.
Yeah, he's a little shy guy, so he's just warming up before the stats actually come into play. I think that's about Zyda as well, who did do a spectacular performance in MDL Season 2.
Yes, and let's not forget that even last season, we've been seeing Zyda perform occasionally, back when he was still with TLPH. So this is Zyda's statistics on the other hand.
It's a direct contrast, right, to what James Banks has.
Yeah, highest total kills with 135, and the average kills in MDLPH Season 2. And you could actually see how the game has changed, because a lot of the stats that James Banks brought to the table in MPL Philippines Season 4 actually double of this. His average kills earlier was at around 6.3 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The total kills was at 240. So seems like MPL Philippines season 4 was just a bloodier season of that with so much kills. And I mean, they also did add in more teams as well, right, for MPL Philippines season 4 compared to
Yes.
season 2. So that's also one of the contributing factors as to why James Banks had a higher stat overall.
And
Yeah.
add to that, Zaida also played in a meta where it was a little different for junglers,
Oh, yup.
right?
Yep.
I would say completely 180. So you know these stats might skew you a little bit in favor of James Banks, but you also have to think about the climate in which Zaida did play.
Yes.
And to get out of the MPL for just a bit, ever since joining in, well, like wholeheartedly in the roster of Team Liquid in season 13, there was a time where Carl Tizio was having a bit of a difficulty adjusting to the meta. There were a lot of questions regarding his performance, so they started playing Zaida more. It was during that time in season 13 when Zaida was playing wherein he got to rack up an undefeated streak with his Nolan. He was 7-0 with that hero heading into the playoffs, and there were actually questions as to is Zaida actually going to show up in the playoffs then during season 13. But definitely you cannot take away the fact that Zaida is also an MPL Philippines champion, and he helped make sure that Team Liquid won the title in
Yes.
season 13.
He's contributed a lot to how Team Liquid Philippines was able to make it that far despite the difficulties that we've evidently seen them encounter in the previous season. And aside from that, being with Team Liquid Philippines for quite a long time, wow. I mean, look at all those pictures being shown on screen. Right, being with,
Trying not to.
well, we're trying not to like pay attention to it, right? But being with TLPH for a long time, I'm sure he's learned a lot from the young GOAT too.
100%.
Is James Banks going to be the first guy to play MPL with a denim
Denim
jacket?
I think all of them have denim jackets. Is that the
Oh, yeah, you're
MDL
right.
spirit or the MDL remembrance that they have with them?
Oh yeah, because you guys had denim jackets.
Yeah.
too, like,
Even
from the time.
Brigida had a denim jacket.
Yeah. In the first season when she won her Best Talent Award, and
It
then
was.
again in season 2, she was wearing a denim jacket.
Maybe there's something. Maybe there's a pattern we're missing here, Anwar, right? Maybe the denim jacket
Believe in the punks.
is the way. Believe in the punks.
Okay.
I like that.
I wonder what that meant. But maybe it's
Believe in
just
the punks.
maybe just believe in James Banks. But
Yeah, he's a punks, man.
that's heartwarming. If they actually did bring the denim jacket because of their roots
Oh, that's nice.
and remembering the or
Or maybe they just like denim jackets
Or maybe they just
too,
like
yeah.
denim jackets,
I mean,
yeah.
denim jackets are cool. So
what if like they add patches too?
For every championship. Maybe it's gonna,
in a la AP brand fashion, they could do that.
that's tradition.
So
right?
they'll be the first team to actually use denim jackets.
Yeah. And it's so cool that it's interesting that we're not seeing them roll out in the AP brand jackets.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good point.
it's still part of their history, but it could also be just be because it really is like a completely new era for them.
Fresh
Because-
start.
Yeah, because for the longest time, AP brand was synonymous with Carl Teasy, Few, Coach Ducky, Flap. Eventually, Carl Teasy left, and then it was just really Few, Flap, Ducky who was carrying the banner of, oh, this is what Bren is. This is what it means to be Bren. And then with them all going to Falcon Esports now, AP Bren, this is not the Bren organization that we're known for. This is a completely new look, refreshed, rebooted
Yeah.
Bren.
Hence why we actually call this the new era.
The new era.
Because for one of our standard teams, one of the teams that have been with us for the longest time,
Yeah.
it's a complete reboot,
Yes.
right? And they essentially have to start from scratch with everything, setting up the name and making the statement and proving that they are still a team that you have to face, you have to reckon. You know what I mean? So either way, we might hear more from them. I think we will hear from them with another all-access segment here with our host and the players.
Maraming salamat ulit sa ating mga casters. We are currently here at the on-ground streaming area na nakalapag sa likod ng ating audience area. So, kasama natin ngayon, walang iba kundi si Prof V. Of course, Jamie is still with me, bringing you the action. Prof, gusto ko lang malaman kung kamusta Kamusta ka? Kasi parang kanina ka pa nandito eh.
Excited. Kaya maaga pumunta para makita lahat ng pwede pa makita.
Tapos ikaw pa nakita natin dito, no, Jamie?
Sobrang excited kami na nandito ka. I know you're streaming on the ground. What's the experience like, Prof. B? Mas immersive ba?
Oo, sobra. Kasi syempre nakikita mo yung mga pinapanood mo, tapos nakikita mo, nakakausap mo. So yun yung isa sa mga experience na hindi matatawaran.
Oo nga, kakaiba, di ba? Nandito siya on the ground at the MPL arena itself. And I'm sure maraming nanonood sa'yo ngayon, di ba?
Oh, tino mo, ayan, nandiyan sila. Hello guys! Hindi ko alam kung nakikita nyo kami ngayon, pero baka nakikita kasi nila tayo.
Mag-hi
diba?
kayo.
Later on, makikita natin sila. I also wanna know, kasi hindi lang naman ikaw ang streamer na mapapanood natin, di ba? Representing MPL Philippines. So, imbitahan mo naman silang lahat.
So ini-invite ko kayong manood ng mga ating mga official streamers, yung kasama ko sa Kaso Search Top 8, sila Omaugi, sila Tupe, sila Lana, sila Gretchen, and the rest of the gang, sila Ajax. Yan.
Alright,
Alright.
I guess that's it. Alright, we'll leave you back to work. We'll leave you back to work. Rekta na natin sa ating mga casters.
Yeah, that's the evolution. We have on-ground streaming this season, by the way.
As mentioned by Prof. B, our current streamer on ground here at the venue, it's more fun. You get to interact real time with the players, with the audience even, all the while also enjoying it alongside your viewers in your very own watch party. So I think there's a sign-up forms for that if ever maybe international people want to like at least do it online. There's a different platform for that. So, I mean, if you're an avid watcher of MPL Philippines and you're here in our stream, I'm assuming you are. So, why not include or make your own watch party?
Yeah, if you're an international streamer, you want to come on over here to the Philippines, maybe for the playoffs. That's going to be up there too for the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, or any point of during the regular season. Go ahead. The forms are available online, or just contact your the Muton representative that you're familiar with, or MPL representative that you're familiar with in your region, and yeah, you could join us here.
Yeah, maybe R7 would like to go here and
Oh
stream
my
one
goodness.
of these days, right? I mean,
That's a lot.
Cool.
that'd be very cool, right?
That's a lot of viewers he'll be bringing.
He's a great guy. I mean, he's so fun to watch. He's so expressive. You know, we want people like it. We want you guys to do that with us and enjoy the league. And here we
finally,
go.
let's go.
We are
Oh
going
my.
on the draft.
Hell yes!
For game number 1. I think they took a while to set up, maybe setting up some cables and stuff, or I don't know. But right now, this is the game 1 of one of the most awaited matchups. If you are like an MDL fan, we're finally gonna see one of our teams, one of the teams that we watch in MDL, come into play in MPL.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we'll be seeing TNC reserve their jungler or the jungler trade for later, or if they're going to immediately prioritize that, given that we've seen their options yesterday. They still have the possibility of the Suyu Joy trade in the bans that are going on for now, but if they do not want to go for that, I mean, the Harith Granger possibility is still available as well for them.
Yep.
0 jungle bans, by the way,
Yeah.
for TNC.
They're keeping the jungler option wide open. Yeah, that's them trying to force some trades. AB Bren can change things up and ban out one jungler, and they do go ahead and ban out the Fanny. So yeah, with what Brigida mentioned, with the trades are active with the Suyo, the Joy. Don't forget TNC does have a Matilda Alpha option with them as well. One pick that James Banks is known to shine with is also the Hayabusa. But with the Harith open, TNC might consider first picking the Harith instead of the typical Suyo Joy.
Oh, all right. Let's see. I mean, I don't think they'll be able to pull off the Matilda again. AP Bren took it out.
Oh,
earlier.
right. Yes,
That's mad respect after what happened yesterday. So will they be going for the Harith instead, or will they be still picking up the Suyo? Those are the possibilities, unless...
That's right. The Harith first pick did work out for TLPH earlier today. But they go for Suyo. They don't think too much. They don't think too much about it. Suyo is definitely an all-rounder on the jungle so far today.
Yeah, I wonder if AP Bren will consider rush picking the Cho. We saw it used earlier by the Team Falcons, but if they want to make sure that Yaoi doesn't have a comfort and that AP Bren will be able to protect James Banks' jungle while providing info. A Rush Cho pick would be good. They can get it alongside the Granger. Or they can also, get the Harith. Harith and Suyo together, terrible climb to go up against. So a Cho Harith would make sense if ever.
Yeah. And I don't think they'd be considering the Granger just yet
whoa.
without knowing the matchup, but
Wow.
instead, okay. So I think even the Filipino broadcast is surprised with these two picks that came from AP Bren. So it's a Joy and the Focus. I don't know if I could like assume the possibility that it isn't a jungle Joy
So
or not.
Yeah.
why do you think they would be surprised by the Phobia's first pick though, or first rotation pick though, Renmore?
The Phobius I'm okay with. CC is still on the board, and that's usually just the trade you're going to go for there. But the Joy is what surprises me because they actually didn't need to go ahead and pick up a jungler yet.
Yeah.
You already see the Suyo. They could have gone for Joy 3rd pick or Joy 4th if ever they were feeling like, oh, we could get Joy in the 4th pick.
Yeah.
TNC will be either a Harith or a Granger. One of those two for them. It is a Harith, but they go ahead and pick up the Badang. Great pickup.
Could this be a Yaoi Badang?
I mean, that's a good possibility, right? One of our friends, Ingan, loves to play that Badang in the jungle. I'm sorry, in the roam, and he gets away with it. You can also flex it on the XP, which is always a great plus for any team that picks it early on.
Considering how Lord JM played yesterday, I'd like to see him actually pick that up in the EXP and then have another roamer with them. But lately we've seen teams internationally default into a roam Badang, but let's see, there's still room for changing things up there. So AP Brand has a good damage profile right now. They have a mix of very light magic, but mostly physical in the Phobias. Strong physical poke with the Granger, and damage, strong burst magic, but it's a little bit divey from the Joy. I'd like to see them pick up more crowd control in their mid. I'd want to see them consider Aurora later on, or the Vexana.
Or the Eve, right? Eve would probably do well here.
And I mean, whichever mid laner TNC decides to pick up, he'll be very cautious of the Joy and the amount of like dive or poke even. Ranged poke that could come in from AP Bren. So it's nice that they were able to eliminate another threat, another surprise setup from the Cho. Because, I mean, at this point, you're not entirely sure as to what the mid duos are going to be. So it could be either really aggressive mid duos that could be a huge threat for mid laners later on.
That's right. It's either very aggressive or you could kind of reel it back with the Auroras of the game, you know. And Vexanas, maybe?
What if we see the Jawheads again? Like, more setups, just immediately bursting down and quick rotations. That I think they'll benefit either of these two teams.
Yeah. I think AP Brand are considering a Jawhead, considering that they took out the Tigreal and the Cho. Jawhead could work out for them very well.
Any really good, what do you call that, pesky roamer
Unless the
would
Khalid
be safe without the Tigreal and the Cho, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Khalid could also do well. Won't get kicked around, explosion to death, right?
Yeah. If ever they're going to pick up a Kali, then I want to see them pick it up last. Just get their mid laner first. Ooh, they take away the Novaria.
Spicy. Which is odd because I would love to see Lancy back on the Novaria.
Oh, but the Selena.
Yeah, but he's already. You're right.
Maybe. I mean, well, there's a lot of possibilities left, but for mid laners, I think they're really limited right now. It's either Vexana or Aurora, as previously mentioned. But
High loss. They go for all reliable here.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to see it.
but like, where's the crowd control for AP Brand, right?
Just the high loss, essentially.
It's just the high loss right now. So the Jawhead goes into TNC instead.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was like,
Oh,
come on, you take out the Cho with the Tigreal. Jawhead would be very happy.
That's
Come on.
like there's little to no hold from AP Bren at this point.
Yeah, so it's really just Vexana or Aurora at this point. If you don't get crowd control on you, that's not going to do well. Considering you have a strong magic burst, the Joy would be okay. Again, either of those two mages are going to be fine. For Lancy, he can just take one of the other and he decides to take the Vexana.
And I think we kind of know where this is going.
Is it gonna really be the Aurora?
Sounds like an Aurora insta-lock here for me.
But that'll feel like a
Selena!
okay. They don't. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we get it. We get it in as early as game 1.
All right, we're looking at the crowd control. Who best to do it with the Selena? Except it's only single target.
Back to the season 8 meta of just like trading Selena and Jawhead.
Oh my goodness.
Good times though. Those are some fun times. Very
Yeah.
chaotic.
And well, at least with this pick, I don't feel like they'd be entirely passive in terms of gameplay, or they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because if not, it could be a hit or miss.
Woo! We're having a lot of fun here. Hopefully you guys also join in on the fun. Don't forget to buy tickets for tomorrow as well. That's Omega versus Falcons and TLPH versus Twisted Minds. I'm sure TLPH picked up a few fans with their victory earlier on, so don't miss out on the action. Go to ph.mpl.com. Get those tickets now.
Yeah, the Filipino sniper was on point. And so following that previous showing from Series 1, I definitely am watching out for our gold laners. They're the last people,
Legend.
the last faces we saw. Kozen, as well as Shizu. Okay, this is it.
Here we go. How effective is that Selena going to be here in game number 1?
Well, very fast take there by the Jawhead and the Suyo. Of course, that's a benefit that you can get. Instead of actually leashing the other buff, Yowie's helping Zyda just clear out his side of the jungle faster. Usually you'd see a Jawhead and Suyo pair up to make sure that once the Suyo gets the purple buff, it's already low, and yeah, he can just go ahead and move on with his rotation. But interesting to see how AP Bren will handle having the Selena, Hylos, Joy, Roam trio, who are all predominantly magic damage.
There goes the Abyssal Arrow immediately as early as less than a minute into the game. But Yaoi still with the ejector flicker will be able to commit onto Dare, but it seems like he will be the one to fall. That's the first blood drawn by AP Bren.
A very good maneuver here by Chokeskirt. I think he baited someone to get thrown. That's not him. I forgot who that was. And it worked very well for them. I think it was Kekadon. He got thrown back by the Jawhead ejector.
It's just when we thought Yaoi was about to run away.
Yeah. In terms of the emblems, nothing too fancy or rupture on the Selena. And yeah, the typical bargain hunter and the Inspire for the Harith. So, very conservative right now after that initial salvo for the Little Wanderer. I think Yaoi will have to think twice about being aggressive with the Jawhead. I like the tough boots rush onto Kekadot. There is a lot of crowd control that he has to deal with against TNC. So far the Joy, Selena, and the Hylos are the ones heading to Temple.
Yeah, it kind of feels like AP Bren and their river control might be a little limited in terms of like, because they have to manage the wave clear or put a little more effort into managing the wave clear with the Selena here. But let's see how this goes.
Speaking of effort, look at that. Good zone.
Oh wow. The Eternal Guard immediately used alongside the ejector. Kekadot might just be bursted down, and he will. He will be the first to fall, but who will be able to secure the turtle? Lancy gets the last hit on it instead. Will they still go after AP Bren? It seems like no, not unless they seem to be playing a little more careful, but Yaoi won't let go of the vision, and he still goes for it. Unstoppable Force onto James Pass, and he will be able to take him out alongside Zyda. There might be another casualty for them. This is too much aggression coming in from TNC.
And TNC Pro Team, Lord JM doing it again. Perfect. Set up with the wall and the knockback as well to disrupt James Banks. Although I believe it was the Eternal Guardian that actually got the last hit on that turtle with a swipe. Because I was looking, it wasn't the Cursed Blast. The hit of the Cursed Blast landed after the turtle was taken down. So yeah, that's the first turtle for the EG of Vexana.
Wow, okay.
It's for Vexana, not for the jungler.
It worked out very well. It's also like, I think it's percent HP damage, so that's why it was pretty good in securing that. And overall, James Banks was given a lot of pressure in that last engagement. He's basically being forced to, in the Filipino term, he's being forced not to play here by TNC for some reason.
They don't want to see the million moves in action. They're limiting so much of James Pangs and his movements, and it seems like the farming patterns are more efficient for TNC this time around, but there's another successful ejector play coming from Yaoi, but he will be the first to be taken out. Kekadot will follow as well, but James Pangs, will he survive? Oh no, there's a flicker from Gozen, and he still makes it, and here comes Zaida as well, taking out top skirt. There's a flicker from him, but he won't be able to survive. They're still jumping in, will be able to take the trade onto Gozen, but there's a Terrify, there's a flicker as well, and this might just be the disengage, unless Zaida still wants to go for it. Evil Queller, he won't be able to continue anymore.
TNC Pro Team now. So what you see is AP Brand realizing that, you know what, if Kekadot's going to be putting himself in some danger and maybe get picked off, we got to be ready to respond. You know, if anything happens, if Yaoi decides to flicker in, toss him back, we got to be ready.
Oh, is this another toss? Another one! Oh my goodness, he didn't even need to do anything aside from the Evil Queller.
It felt so easy. Every time that Unstoppable Force is off cooldown, it feels like Yaoi can just take it non-stop. But at the trade here, it is AP Brand with that turn.
Yeah, say what you will, Yaoi on a jawhead, literal throwback.
I cannot imagine how annoyed AP Bren are right now with the constant ejectors, even onto the tankiest members, even onto the front lines. It feels like TNC, they're just that confident because they have enough damage to deal with those tanky frontliners.
Yeah. You're even happy to commit a flicker just to be able to throw someone. That's Yaoi for you.
Yep. Good old pick-off style, run and gun, all speed play style that Yaoi showed and excelled with to make sure he would win a world championship. Thunderbelt already there on the Badang quite early. Glowing Wand for the Vexana. It's a talisman for the Selena. Just the two gold laners, only up to one item each. Hunter Strike on the Granger and the Starlium Scythe on the Harith.
Yeah, and it seems like they're typical Vorax first, but will that be the best way to go since TNC is really aggressive at this point and they might not be able to sustain much of the team fight if ever TNC keeps going at it with this pacing.
The threat of doing that over and over again is your enemy kind of just gets wary. He gets used to your movements. Like every time you flare up, they just know you're going to go in. So I wonder if that's going to come into effect here in this game.
TNC now committing a 4-1 split, sending James Pangs top side while Zaida's doing the same, managing the far lane for TNC Pro Team, and AP Bren have wisened up and adjusted to Yaoi's aggressive posturing as they now try to make sure that Kekadot has some help nearby, and Chovskirt is actually getting helped out by Dare in the mid lane to clear it out faster, but up top, James Pangs!
Oh, they're gonna trap him here under the turret, and even under the turret, take him out. Zaida's now unstoppable, and they meet, the junglers meet in the top lane.
So it seems like they are doing exactly what we thought they were. They're stopping James Pangs from even going into the map.
Even getting the trades.
Yeah, Zaida showing off his experience. Oh, Yaoi gets stunned.
Oh, will he be taken out here? Will the damage be enough? That's another ejector onto Kekadot, and the Zaman Force. The damage is there, but the glorious pathway might be able to allow him to escape. But there's Respo from Lord JM, as well as Lancy with a flicker. They are being so confident right now.
Absolutely good response there from their opposing side here. And don't forget, top lane's also getting pushed in. All that gold going over to Zaida as well. 5-0 and free right now on the Suyo.
Yeah, he's really showing off his experience as an MPL champion, a two-time, well, a back-to-back MPL champion, and finals MVP as well in Season 2. So Zaida really just showing why before James Pangs got here, he got here first.
Oh. And they're literally not allowing him to even farm. I couldn't be exactly sure as to how much gold difference is currently existing between these two junglers, but even just in terms of levels, looking at it, that's a 2-level gap immediately. Yaoi, will he go for another ejector play? James Pangs is already here, using the electrifying beats onto Yaoi, and there goes the beautiful Deathly Grasp alongside the Eternal Guard. Kekadot will try to run away. Kozin takes out Dare, but there's the Conceal, and they might just be able to escape, but Dare will not be able to live.
TNC Pro Team, the lineup that they brought up here, up against a team making their debut in the MPL. Of course, yes, Kekadot and Dare are coming back to the MPL, but they are a debuting team. They show up with a lineup that are just smothering. We know what Jawhead brings to the table, paired up with his physical defense shred with a Suyo. We know what Suyo does. We know how well just Harith can be annoying to deal with if you don't get to shut him down early. So that's what they decided to draft against AP Bren. Smother them.
Will the damage be enough this time, though? Those are 2 episode arrows consecutively hitting Yawi, but he still has the flicker, and that's a beautiful counter engage coming in from Lord JM! And now kick it on as well. Will be a double kill for Kozen.
How do you play if you're if AP Bren here? It's so hard to actually even move out of the map, and even when you think you're gonna get the kill, you get denied.
And another denial as well for James Banks himself. This first Lord might just really go into the hands of TNC. I mean, even recalling what happened earlier, it seemed like the perfect moment for AP Bren to go in. Yawi was so low, the flicker was forced out. But how could you not anticipate that counter attack coming in from Lord JM?
Yeah, they got baited into that. The fist break paired up with Eternal Guardian. Lord JM and Lancey were just watching. AP Brent said go, Lord JM said no, and Lancey said y'all are gonna get blown up. What a counter by TNC.
In basketball terms, that is called denied.
Yes.
It's a huge block.
Yes, it
Right?
is.
It's just no going around it. That was a good response from Lord JM this time around.
It's like, you know, when LeBron James is a really good block, he go, block by James. I said, block by JM.
Lord J, isn't he Lord J?
Why do I want to say that later?
Maybe later.
Maybe if it happens again.
If it happens again.
But hopefully for AP Bren, it doesn't. Holy Shields are about to pop right now since there's a minion in the middle lane. And they still have a Lord marching up top.
Yeah, I really gotta say, Lord James or Lancey, if they win this, either of them have to be the MVP. Let's see if he can do it again.
Up front.
Wait, the Abyssal Arrow connects onto Kozen, but they still won't go for it. Yawi kind of low. Oh, they just need one more hit. And that might be a successful defense from AP Bren. They eliminated the threat of another ejector play from Yawi.
Nice side step as well from Lancey, being very aware. But then, that's AP Bren basically denying the attack as well. No Lord push happening today. Yeah,
TNC Pro Team has Balloon. This is like old school Echo Express playstyle that we're seeing with Yawi on the Jawhead again with a throwback. Oracle, second item for the Badang, rushing the cooldown reduction. Great itemization. Same as well here for Zyda, knowing he got the Snowball, already got the BOD, and the Blood Wings for the Vexana. Still waiting on the items, or the second item of the Selena. Gonna be a while.
Whoa.
Dominance Ice only for that high loss.
They're still on second item for their mid laner.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's just
nasty.
how difficult the situation is for AP Bren, whereas their junglers are like 4K apart.
Yeah, and James Banks is struggling to get any farm, any XP whatsoever.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it could have been better, but I wish I was an Aurora. You're up against literal phoenixes. How do you put out fire? Use some ice.
Oh.
That's logic.
Yeah, I'm just using basic common sense right now.
Less the ice does melt, and then
But-
you're
And again,
slippery, bro.
yeah, you would have. It would have been so great right now if they had the Frigid Glacier as
Yes.
the counter engage
Agreed.
to the eventual entry of Lord James. Imagine if Lord James there is like, ha, I get to fist break you. If that was an Aurora, suddenly, wait, why is there ice forming underneath my feet? He gets frozen. The counter engage of TNC is a little bit tougher. Yaoi might not be able to escape. It's going to be harder for Kozen as well.
That's true. And maybe some of these Granger shots will sink in even more.
Yes.
Even easier to hit the shots.
Yeah, I mean, all the range that AP Bren has right now, they couldn't really maximize it to its full potential. TNC just keeps closing the gap. So even when you want to like poke them from afar, even for just a moment, that doesn't really happen anymore. TNC just keeps going for it, but could something happen here for AP Bren? Oh, maybe not for them, because TNC will be the one to start the fight once more. There is down for them, and they're in full control of the Lord Pit. Kekedot, will he be able to find a way for his teammates to go in? That's another angled arrow from Chop's skirt. Yaoi is quite low, and now they know that there is no ejector. Oh, Yaoi gets taken out by the Lord. James Banks finds a way in, but it's too late. Zyda already secures the Lord. Kozen takes down Kekedot. James Banks dashes out of that fist crack, but Zyda's still chasing for him. But the Lord immediately spawns too.
Okay, Zyda's not letting James Banks go home. He wants to chase down the joy!
Just when you thought you were out, you get pulled back in.
What an angle! He anticipated that dash coming in from James Pax and Shizu. A solo kill from Kuzen. He's not waiting for the Lord anymore. He's just dancing with the Zaman Force alongside the Eternal Guards as well. Chop Skirt's the only one left, and there's only so much he can do. TNC take game number 1.
With Raging Fire, pushing out AP Bren. 1-0 for TNC. That was phenomenal performance. Yaoi gunning for an MVP
Oh my goodness.
as well here on this one.
They're really just continuing. Again, they're showing their strength from day one, from that game 2 up against ONIC Philippines before they eventually lost it. It's Yaoi setting the tempo, and Lord JM and Lancy, whatever they've drank this morning, whatever was in their water, in their juice, in their coffee, I don't know what, but their connection, their follow-ups are always so on point. The fist break Eternal Guardian combo, and even him being able to, or excuse me, I mean Lancy, being able to make the most out of the Deathly Grasps to maximize crowd control. These two are just so good.
They felt a lot more connected today
Yeah.
than they were yesterday. There was nothing to put out the flames, the fire of the Rising Phoenix.
And Lord JM had a fun time in this one. I didn't think there was anyone who could stop Lord JM here, not even Abyssal Arrows.
It really reminded me of the Barretts that he used yesterday, except that this one, it was a lot less risky to commit, to pull off. And they were like a little more patient with their timings. And unlike yesterday, it felt like they were really being led by a single caller. But the MVP for that game, it seems to be Zaida.
I got my own personal biases, but you know what, Zaida? You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. You deserve it. 9-0 and 5. Fast as hell GPM. The dude was just non-stop all throughout the game. Again, paired up with the Jawhead. We didn't always get to see the Jawhead Suyo combo together with the burst that they dealt, but knowing the coverage that TNC Pro Team had on the map with how Yaoi was rotating and setting the tempo alongside Lancy, that meant that Zaida had a lot of room in the other portions of the map to steal farm, get resources, push, or, well, just find kills on his own.
I think you're absolutely right. Zaida's performance on the Suyo is compounded into double effect by that Jawhead, right? It felt like, you saw it in the first seconds of the game, he took that buff a lot faster because of the Jawhead, and because of Yaoi, he was able to also secure so much space, so much bush control.
Yeah, and it's sad to see that even when James Panks was just trying to go for the trades because they knew they couldn't fight, TNC didn't even let them do that much. So there were a lot of
like this one,
connections that were going on all around the map. It wasn't just Lancy, it wasn't just Yaoi, it was Lord JM, and connecting with every single member of TNC.
Yeah, after the initial rotations of Yaoi and Zaida just being a nightmare together, that's when Zaida, I think by the second turtle, started to split from the rest of the team and started doing his own thing.
Beautiful. The switcheroo that you saw on your screens, it was just pure cinema right there.
How could you let this kind of lineup go into the hands of TNC once again?
Yeah.
I don't think APBR wants to experience the same kind of... I mean, I don't know. Like, there probably was an idea, definitely, behind the last-minute Selena pick, but we weren't able to see it in action. It was the hit or miss that prevailed for the Selena in this particular game.
Yeah, I think they were thinking that, well, maybe they already knew a Jawhead was probably on the way, so they picked up a Selena to somehow be able to get vision to try and temper Yaoi's rotations, but that's so risky if you're condition for stopping the Jawhead rotations and him getting into position is to make sure he steps on traps and make sure I hit my Abyssal Arrows. That's too much of a gamble to take.
Yeah, that's like a soft, just like a soft answer, right?
Yeah, and you know what's solid? Ice. That's a solid answer. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop on the whole Aurora thing, but
no, I agree. I completely agree. We can keep that train going because I think all of us unanimously agreed Aurora's the pick here. But they went a little bit of a spicier route.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a gamble, but it's high risk.
That was basic matter lecture.
Yeah, and it's basic science. It's like those 3 states of matter. I forgot the others. So, another thing that they should have done is not pick the Joy in the first 2 picks. Again, they already know that you don't have to worry about a Joy showing up. They could have prioritized the Harith with them. If they got the Harith, they would have avoided 2 of the fastest snowballing heroes in the same team. They got the Suyo, they got the Harith, they eventually get the Jawhead. That's how you know you're going to go up against a lineup that will bully you and you will be forced to play from behind.
And it was a lineup that was screaming. They were roaring that we have to play from... This is a lineup that's going to play from behind no matter what.
Yeah.
Eventually, with the way it panned out, that's worse for James Panks. Because you can't play from behind as a Joy. Right? It was so hard for the guy to actually move at all.
I mean, they had a lot of mobility. I think a lot of mobility, even at the expense of crowd control.
Yeah.
Since you would think they'd be able to somehow maneuver around all those attempts from Yaoi, but that didn't happen. Like, he was always, at the very last minute, able to reserve the flickers, the ejectors, so everything felt just really successful for TNC Pro Team.
Yeah, TNC Pro Team living up to the expectations of a lot of people who were watching yesterday and hoping, you know what, they could do better. And they did in game number 1. Let's throw it over to All Access, though. I think we might have some more snippets for you guys.
Andito pa rin tayo sa MPL Arena kasama ang mga members ng MPL Smart Battle Trips! Let's go, let's go, let's go! Asan ang mga energetic dyan? Where are the energetic people?
We want to hear you!
Asan? Oy!
Mas
Oy!
malakas!
Oy! 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 Oy!
May
Ayan
sayaw
na.
ba dyan?
Oy.
Sige nga.
Wala lang.
Wala.
Yun lang
Akala
yung
ko
contribution
pinapasayaw mo,
niya.
Hans.
Oo.
Ano ba?
Kasi sila pala interviewin natin.
Okay.
Alright? Okay, please introduce yourselves.
Okay, what's up, MPL Arena? Ayan, magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Ako po si Elmer Christian M. de la Merced. SL from Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Santa Mesa, Manila Campus po.
Yan. Anong motto mo?
Ang motto ko po in life is time is gold. Very unique.
Time
Very
is
unique.
gold. Okay, I love it.
Okay. Ikaw naman.
What's up, MPL Arena? I'm Keith Duazon from the Community Heroes, Bulacan area. So, naniniwala po ako sa kasabihan.
O, di ba? Okay.
Kapag wala kayo dito, wala kami.
I love that! Kapag wala kayo dito, wala kami.
Ang hindi pumalakpak, hindi makakauwi na ligtas.
Okay, marked safe.
I love
Yan.
it. Ready na siya sa motto niya, di ba?
Ready na siya.
Ready. Okay, now nandito tayo sa MPL Philippines Season 15. Sino ang sinusuportahan nyo? Let's start with you.
Ako po, since ang V-Wise po, alam naman po natin, V-Wise is very legendary. One of the legendary duo in MPL PH. So, ang kinusuportahan ko pong team ngayon ay Aurora Gaming po.
Aurora! Okay,
naman.
what about you?
Kasi si King Kong eh.
Sino?
Si King Kong po.
Oh, okay.
So, ang sinusuportahan mo ay?
Sinusuportahan ko po ay ang Team ONIC.
Yan.
Oh.
So, Aurora,
Kami mamaya.
Team ONIC.
maglalaban yan mamaya.
Tama.
Nako, mukhang
Last
mag-aaway
match,
sila.
diba?
Mag-aaway
For the
sila
day.
mamaya. Nararamdaman ko na. Now, I wanna know, guys, since mapapanood nyo yung mga idol nyo mamaya, you've been here a while, right? Nakita nyo yung kaninang mga laban. I wanna know, kamusta ba ang experience sa MPL Arena? Is it your first time watching?
Yes, actually, this
that's
is my
fun.
first time watching here live. And also, this is my first time joining the battle trips that MSL have conducted. And sobrang daming learnings. As in, parang yung mga sinishare kanina ng mga panelists and pati sila Sir Otto, si Miss Carrot and everything. And they also made us a tour dito sa loob ng MPL Arena. So, sobrang dami naming nakita and na-expose and ayun.
You're learning a lot. I'm glad you're having a good experience. What about you? Ano yung experience mo? Is it your first time?
Actually po, this is my end time here.
Oh.
And actually
Actually po, so in my experience naman po on my end, so very insightful po and very enjoyable. Since hindi lang po kami nakanood ng games, naka-tour din po kami around here in the MPL Arena, and we noticed po some of the behind the games po. So maraming learnings po kami natutuhan, and we hope po na masundan pa po ito.
Okay, now I just have one more question, okay? Imbitahan mo naman sila. Paano ba makakasali yung mga players or yung mga students natin sa MPL Battle Trips?
Okay, so we have Facebook page po, Mountain Student Leaders. You can search it on Facebook. Then we are posting po different games na pwede pong sumali sa Battle Trips. And this week po, ang magiging participants po namin ay in National Capital Region. So we are inviting to join the students from National Capital Region po. Magsasagot lang po kayo ng questions doon, and pipili po kami kung sino po yung mga sasali sa Battle Trips po.
There we finally have it, guys. Maraming salamat. I hope you enjoy
Thank you
the
so
rest
much. Come
of the
on!
show. MPL Battle Trips uli yan, okay? So ngayon, bibigyan ko kayo ng pagkakataon na kayo mismo yung mag-throw, alright? So when we say casters, alam nyo na yung sasabihin nyo, okay? So let's do it. In 1, 2, 3. Casters, pasok!
Fun times. Battle Trips time again.
Yeah,
Yes, Battle Trips is back, by the way.
Thanks for everyone who pointed in the Filipino direction and did not point to us at all.
I didn't even mention it anymore.
I mean, we're here too.
Yeah, we're here too.
We're on the left.
I guess.
But, okay.
Sure.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, Battle Trips is ongoing. If you're in the NCR region, listen to what they said. Just fill it up. It's in the group. That's why we really urge you guys to join the group. It's a really fun group, and there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do there. Plus, perks like this.
Yeah, if you're a student and you're a fan of MPL, there's a chance that you and your group, your organization, or depending on whichever your part, gets to experience the backstage, like what happens behind the scenes of MPL Philippines. They come in early, so they get to see us all preparing, the production, the staff. So it's a really, I'd say, a memorable experience for those who are fans. So if you want to try it out, just check out the group. They mentioned they have a lot in store for you.
Yeah, it's essentially the best field trip you could ask for, and I wish we had when we were still studying.
That's true. That's why it's happening for 3 seasons now, by the way. Yeah? 3rd season of Battle Trips. Thank you so much. And that's why we are going into the draft now in a few sides. AP Bren is going to choose out the blue side. Will they be able to finally get a really good jungler in James Panks' hand that will not get countered immediately?
I don't know what their definition of priority jungle is. I think they were actually so much fixated on that, even securing the Joy early on. So
Hyper secure, hyper fixated actually, even when they didn't need to.
They're probably just going to end up with a Suyo again. I mean, if now with AP Brand on the blue side, they can follow the same drafting pattern for TNC if it's open for them. They can just go ahead, pick up the Suyo, Jawhead, and Harith in the first phase. I'm just going to say it now. I don't mind if they do that.
I think so. Yeah, why not?
One of those is probably going to get banned by TNC, but, yeah.
And speaking of bans, it's really interesting to note for me earlier that in SBS, there was a lot of focus on banning out James Panks. I don't know if James is his actual first name, is it?
It should be.
It should be.
Should be.
But this time around, they did not care about it at all, leaving the jungler open. And that strategy so far is working out. I don't know why.
It was Lazy who banned the jungler, right? It was the Fanny
Earlier,
even, like
yes.
at the last ban. So all junglers were really just open for both of these teams. So let's see if there's going to be a change in terms of that, because I honestly feel like there's some sort of similarity in terms of the bans that we're gonna see, and though there you go. So it's the Harith that's gone.
Huh?
Wait.
They would ban the Harith?
So
Okay.
they don't. Oh, okay.
Well, that means they're already showing to TNC, oh, we're going to pick up the Suyo.
Yeah, 100%. And then maybe you can get the Granger if you don't ban it out.
Well, unless AP Bren also consider rushing the Joy instead of the Suyo.
Maybe better. There's a Louis ban. That's a signal.
Okay. The trade's still open, but I strongly feel that it's either of those two junglers. It probably won't be the Granger. There's still the Irithel.
Yeah.
So for AP Bren, are they still really comfortable with the Joy, or would they want to secure the Suyo for themselves? Oh, they are gonna go for the Joy.
So TNC does not need to rush the Suyo. They can go ahead pick up the Granger. They want high invade CC even early on would be okay. But they go Granger Katot instead.
Yaoi historically has a loss in the Gatot
Yeah.
this season, but again, it's not to say it's a bad pick. It's actually a pretty good pick here
Yeah.
for TNC.
And I think like for all the times we've seen those clutch performances or hits from Yaoi, even like the passive of the Katot works well, right? For high mobility heroes. Like you get the stacks and then you get to chase after them with the passive, if that would be the case, if this is going to be Yaoi's hero, because AP Bren get their hands on the CC immediately, providing them quite of an advantage in the XP lane.
I want to see TNC consider being ultra annoying against this Joy. Surprise, make that Katot an EXP, then pick up a Tigreal for yourself.
Oh, that sounds like a good one. That actually sounds like a really good pick. Except, obviously, it will get punished by CC, but you don't need to stay in the lane, right? If you're the thought, you can just go around, roam around, get some kills done.
And this is the pattern you like to see. the jungler being picked up at this point, and you being able to prioritize your other picks and leaving a bit more room for flexibility, since we aren't entirely sure yet whether or not this is going to be Yaoi's Gatot again. So we're leaving the mid laners for last once more.
Right.
I feel like AP Bren still think it might be a Yaoi Gatot. So I would also support the idea that they surprise us that it's not.
Yeah. Because, if TNC Pro Team decides to pick up a Tigreal here, then they can go ahead and pick up a Farsa. Because you're thinking of, the Farsa might be difficult. We're up against a CC Moskov, and especially that Joy. How are we going to make that Farsa work? You make sure you have someone to peel with it. So the Gatot will either stay behind, and then the Tigreal stays forward, or vice versa. You can shuffle it.
Actually, wouldn't mind having a high loss in that lineup if you're going to throw the Farsa in there, right? Something to just equalize and make it a soak, a damage soak.
Yeah, they can, and with that they can do the double revitalize if the Gatot Kacha is going to be slotted in there alongside the high loss.
Yeah. Though if it's about the Farsas and all those long range artillery mages, Chopskirt has made a name for himself too when it comes to using those kinds of mid laners. But let's see if he'll be able to get his hands on one of them, since at this point we clearly see how limited the options are once again. So they might want to show us another surprise mid lane that hopefully for AP Bren would work against this lineup of TNC so far.
TNC's actually done their homework. They're heavily banning out on that mid lane as well, which does work out in the end for them. Choskirt, I would have liked to see his Eve again. I loved it when he played an Eve. But there you go, another mid lane ban. Vexana out the window.
Yeah, and as much as we want to see the Farsa maybe in his hands, you have to think of the possibility of being cancelled out by the Avatar of the Guardian and all that, and being the Farsa being stolen away from you. So
that's pretty good.
TNC, they have a really good draft so far.
I really hope this is Tigreal last pick. That's just gonna mess up the lineup of AP Bren, and this is where they need to consider picking up a Valentina. And their roamer, they might end up with a Cho, but then you're going to be up a Cho take. You need a strong frontline roamer.
High loss.
They might default and just go high loss. Because a high loss Tigreal works well for TNC, so AP Bren can decide to just take out one of those and then pick up a Valentina.
And I like the Tigreal as well that you pointed out. It will pair well with TNC. Plus, it will just make it harder for the Joy to play.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of Joys just have a hard time playing because they are scared of the implosion.
How do you go in knowing that there's a threat?
There's the high loss, but they're sticking. They're sticking with the Selena.
They really want to make it work. And for heroes such as the Farsa, when casting their ultimates, I don't think they're moving targets, right? But I wouldn't like to think that that's the only reason why they decided to pick this up again, because it didn't entirely work in the previous game. So Lord JM and Yaoi, they have a lot. They have endless options to choose from, knowing that this is the lineup of AP.
They can go Bagats again.
Just Tigreal or Cho.
Tigreal or Cho is great.
I want to see this Gatot flex into the EXP, but Barrett would be okay because AP Bren doesn't have the right damage to deal with the Barretts, actually.
There's the Cho.
He's back! He's freaking back, guys!
Oh my gosh!
Yaoi Cho.
Yaoi is the Cho! And he's back!
This was brought up yesterday, right, on broadcast. Yawi, despite flying over for the longest time, still has the highest show gameplay in the whole MPL.
He is showman for MPL Philippines.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a Gatatkacha flex into the EXP. Just the last call for TNC was what the roamer is gonna be for them, and I like it. I'm leaning towards TNC for this draft right now. AP Brent still very dependent on the Selena hitting the mark.
Yeah.
But my X factor for AP Brent's lineup here is CC. There could potentially do some things in the map alongside some good communication with Kekedot to mess up what TNC wants to do in some engages.
I think there has had multiple highlights of him doing solo plays or doing like some really important plays all by himself using some. I think before he was known for what, the Terizla, and now the CC, there are a lot more of possibilities that he could show us with that, but let's see. I hope it's not too dependent on whether or not he's able to do that.
We shall see, we shall see. This time around, we are on game number 2. GameSpancer's running it.
Yawi signature pick.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
Look at this Yawi boy.
Already disrupting and annoying the heck out of James Banks. There's a lot of info for the Suyo.
All right, so that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see with Yawi. Everyone just loves watching this guy play, and it is very effective. Info gathering early on, just knowing where your opponent is a big deal.
And paired up with the Farsa in the early stages of the game, it could really deal out the necessary damage against your opponent. And this is quite a very similar scenario to what we saw in game number 1. The rotations of AP Bren, they aren't that efficient in the early game. Like, it's slower, way slower compared to how TNC is able to do it.
Okay, I mean, Lancy.
Oh, Curse of the Crow. Oh, they dive in. Whoa! They get the first blood onto the member who we mentioned should be performing a little bit better in this game.
Yeah, but that's respect by TNC Pro Team. They knew what a CC could bring to the table, what Dare could potentially bring to the table, and they said, you know what, let's shut that down early. Meanwhile, AP Brenna has shut down Yawi's aggressive rotations in the bottom lane.
In fairness, that was a really good answer. At the same time, might have been just like a sacrifice play. Just making sure that you have good gold on your jungler again this time around.
So let's see if AP Bren are able to show us a better control in terms of the early game this time, since I don't think they're being that threatened. They're actually trying to show up a lot more compared to the previous game, but they force out the feathered airstrike early on.
Bit of a miss there on that first one, but did some good damage on his Coaster.
Oh, Kekedot trying to interrupt as well. The members of TNC taking down the turtle, but they still secure it for themselves. Lord JM goes in, taunts Kekedot as well. There's some really mad sustain coming in from them, but there is the Avatar of the Guardian as well, and Kekedot will not survive that.
Insane zoning, literally surgical. In that engagement by Yawi with the Avatar Guardian in the perfect spot to cut off the exit route.
And Zaida also making sure that he'll be able to land his stun. Start here for TNC Pro Team. Everything is going to plan for them, and here comes Yawi providing the vision again. Again, Farsa, a hero that is famously blind, and Yawi providing the vision for her.
And they just keep making sure that they know where James Panks is, that Kekedot is really poked down. I mean, he hasn't even gotten his level 4. He doesn't have his ultimate up until now. There's no glorious pathway, probably just now, but there's the way of the dragon. I think he's been the recipient of it, and he will be bursted down by 4 members of TNC.
So aggressive here. TNC just maximizing this show pick and actually boosting Kozen's gold here, as well as the Suyo.
Kekedot way too deep there. Shouldn't have been there without proper help near him. He is up against a Cho, and there is a high risk that if he's caught out at the wrong time, he's just going to get picked off. Because if the Cho's there, that means either the Farsa or the Suyo are going to be close by. And so far, that hasn't changed. Zaida, Kozen, Zaida, Yawi, and Lancy have been a hit squad all around the map.
I mean, look at them now. 4 of them once again towards the top lane onto Dare, and there is no way he will get out of that alive.
Yo, they're happening. They're doing this like clockwork. Go bot, go top, go bot, go top. It's uncanny.
Yep, the Yahweh of the Dragon has found itself home. And Yawi still showing off why this is his hero, why he is the hero or the player most synonymous with Cho.
Cho is him.
Cho is him. And AP Bren are just getting out-tempoed.
Yeah, TNC is very terrifying when they get hold of the early game. They're controlling the pacing and the momentum is clearly theirs, but Chokeskirt, oh, an abyssal arrow to the face. Will Lancey make it out alive? He still has the flicker.
They're low.
But AP Bren might just go for this. There's the Glorious Pathway. James Pants will be able to cast the Hat Electrifying Beats onto 4 members. But there's the sustain still from TNC. And the counter Avatar of the Guardian where Zyda still makes his way inside and gets that turtle. And now they're still proceeding with the fight. It seems like James Pants has found his opening. Lord JM, will he be able to survive this? There goes the Yo-Yo Blitz, but they will escape.
I wonder if that was purposeful that James Banks did not use. It wasn't that he could not use it, he didn't use it. So question up in the air of whether he missed it or they just made sure that, you know what, let's just see if we can just go ahead for the counter engage after this turtle instead. But part of me is thinking that he might have missed it, but AP Bren were able to recover just a little bit with getting a kill there.
It's so hard to blame him as well because that is a Suyo. It has multiple layers of damage that you're going to have to play with. And then the fact that you're a little bit behind on level also just doesn't help.
Zyda has pretty much won the retro battle for the entire series so far up against James Banks.
Even during moments wherein we thought TNC wasn't able to fully position themselves or comfortably control the objectives.
They're back at it.
So now they're in the bottom lane again.
It's like clockwork. Even with all the traps that is being laid down by Chokeskirt, it's surprising that it's hard to actually read what TNC is doing on the map if you are AP Bren.
I'd like to think that they probably have an idea, but they just can't keep up.
Yeah.
Or you know what's happening, but you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like that's what we're seeing right now. AP Bren are just trying to find some semblance of an opening. Again, playing it around the traps and the arrows of the Selena. High risk. So far, no reward for the decision to prioritize the Selena in the series.
How do you play against that? There's too much zoning, information. And even when you go for opposite trades that are on the map, there's Zyda waiting for you. Oh, Avatar of the Guardian onto Dare. Will they be able to pour all of their resources onto him? The Vengeance is casted. There's the Glorious Pathway as well. But look at all the damage coming in from them. But there is mobility, and there is Shizu going in.
Okay.
But
scary.
For just a bit, okay.
I clenched. Like Zyda, Shizu, whoa.
I wasn't expecting that too.
Shizu nerves of steel on this guy.
Oh! Wait, no
flicker's
way!
in? Oh my goodness.
Thought we
What is happening here?
Chokeskirt committed the flicker as well.
We couldn't even see Chokeskirt anymore.
They're all so aggressive.
That's just how much range TNC has. They're just controlling every single area in this map. So it's so hard to find an opening for AP Bren at this point. You can't even get trades in terms of turrets or at the opposite ends of the map.
Lancey has just been on fire with this Farsa, not shy with using the feathered airstrike. Aggressive. If he can build the advantage, he will build it. Only Starlium Scythe built up so far by the Joy, while Zyda is already up to 5.3k. Not that massive of a gold lead, but he does have 2 items with him with the War Axe and Hunter Strike.
Yeah, they're losing out on the map control pretty heavily. The only upside I can pick for James Banks is at least he still has access to his buffs.
Yes, the
at least for now.
The early shutdown on the XP made a huge difference for TNC. But does AP Bren still want to go for this? They casted the curtain call, but they were too far away. And Zyda, just look at Zyda.
It's up on bot. No resistance whatsoever. It feels like Zyda can do whatever he wants on the map so far.
And just that play was enough to surprise AP Bren once more. Dare will be taken out alongside that tier 1 mid lane turret.
It caught him by surprise because even Dare was delayed on the Vengeance.
Oh, and there's the feathered airstrike too. Two of the tankiest members supposedly are down.
It's good to see him back home, landing those iconic Way of the Dragons and G Kundo's flickers from out of nowhere. Yaoi is back in the Philippines.
He is Cho, he is him, and there's just no substituting one of the best Cho players of our time.
Alongside that, the other members of TNC Pro Team have been fantastic as well. Lancey, Zyda, Lord JM, and Kozen. TNC, they are on fire.
I can definitely feel how excited they were to play this way. Yawi in full control. The way of the dragon, as you've mentioned. It's so nostalgic, and I feel like a lot of fans are celebrating at what they're seeing. Oh, and there he goes again! Taking out Dare and Kekedot too! Oh my goodness, look at that damage, but the fight is still going on! And the Spear of Destruction doesn't connect, and Chop Skirt falls! James Banks as well! Only Shizu's left alone!
They even missed on the Spear of Destruction. Everything is going topsy-turvy here for AP Bren.
2 games, TNC ended up with a very comfortable tempo-setting roam pick for Yawi. Jawhead in game 1 and the iconic Cho in game number 2. And TNC has looked comfortable all series long. Lancy and Kozin with their reach, and Lord JM and Zaida with their perfectly timed entries every time.
There we go, level 15. Zaida hit it at 9 minutes and 50 seconds.
It feels so limiting for AP Bren. Like, how could you make a play with this lineup knowing that you're playing from behind? There's little to no setups, but for TNC, there are overwhelmingly endless setups coming in from Yawi. And even Lord JM, I don't think we've seen him use the Avatar of the Guardian to start things up entirely. It's always Yawi.
It's for the safety, and it's working out so well for them. Kozin is having a fun time here. Dare is not allowed to play on the map. Earlier it was James Banks who couldn't walk out. It's now Dare. Even with Vengeance, Yawi is just going for him.
And on to Kekedot. Once more, they burst him down. There will be a trade onto Yawi though, but they take out one of their front lines and they gain access to this inhibitor turret. James Banks from behind though finds Lancy. Kozin is able to dodge him, but they will still proceed with the fight. But there's too much damage coming in from those bullets, and they will take down the mid lane inhibitor turret.
As close as possible here. Shizu still fighting out in the end.
Could this be a triple? And it will be! But he will fall, but that's already enough for the Phoenix Army! They are definitely on the rise, and Zaida makes quick work of the base! The Phoenix Army bounces back and secures their first win of the season!
And it's a 2-0 at that. The Phoenix Army is burning. They are roaring with fire here in day number 2.
May 4, 2024, the last time we saw TNC Pro Team win a series in MPL Philippines. Scratch that, make it on March 1st, 2025. They have finally won a series.
They started the month right.
They started the whole season
the
right.
whole season right.
Wow, TNC Pro Team winless no more.
That was a sweep. We have to remember that was a sweep.
Yeah, and that was a harsh welcome to the MPL for AP Bren. Well, for TNC Pro Team, again, they were hyped up yesterday. The strengths, their best qualities that they showed off in their series against ONIC Philippines, they got a victory with it in their series against AP Bren today. This team is looking so good.
There's a lot more room for AP Bren. We've seen their intentions, but for now, it's time for the Phoenix Army to celebrate. This is their moment. This is their spotlight.
And it has been a while since the Phoenix Army has had anything to actually celebrate, so this is a momentous occasion here, in all honesty.
I'm so excited to hear what they have to say.
That's right.
How long has it been since we've seen them in the winner's interview? Right?
Almost a year, bro.
It feels so good that we're gonna see TNC in an interview and they're not going, sorry guys, we're 8th place again.
Exactly.
I'm so happy to see them finally get interviewed, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So we are going to see this. This is going to be legendary, folks. It is TNC Pro Team with an interview with our host.
Finally back into the winning column is the Phoenix Army from TNC Pro Team!
What a comeback this season, ah! Ang galing! Ang linis ng games nyo, guys. Grabe,
Malinis na
ang bilis,
malinis.
ang lakas.
Mabilis, especially that game number 2. Now I want to know more. Yawi, again, congratulations first win back in the MPL Philippines. Compared dun sa nakita nating laro, kaya tatawa? Compared from last season, okay? Compared from last season or nung last game nyo kontra sa ONIC Philippines, what were some of the things na napag-usapan ng team heading into this match?
Siguro adjust lang po. Tapos yung in-adjust namin yung ano lang yung early namin eh. Kasi yung game 1 sa ONIC na early lang kami sobre. Pero nung game 2 yun, yung ano lang siguro yung macro lang kasi one error lang kami nung game 2, di ba? Tapos yun, adjust agad kami. Tapos review agad pag-uwi sa Bren.
And you guys were definitely prepared for this time around. Now, I want to know from your perspective, ikaw heading back into the Philippines, making your homecoming dito, representing TNC Pro Team, may kinailangan ka bang i-adjust as a roamer? Ngayon na babalik ka sa Pilipinas compared to when you were in a different country or nung naglalaro ka for a different country?
Wala po masyado eh, kasi kilala ko na po sila. Tapos wala po, sobrang dali lang po talaga nang nangyari ng adjustment ko kasi wala na, sobrang safe lang po.
And you know, the confidence is there. Kasi maganda naman talaga ang pinakita nila in that game.
Sobra. I'm excited to watch them play some more games. Now, we also have Zaida here. Hindi kita nakausap kanina sa All Access. I'm glad you're next to me now. Ano yung feeling mo, Zaida, na pumasok ka sa Season 15 as part of the main lineup?
Masaya ako sa binigay na tiwala ng TNC sa akin na kumuha sa akin na masaya ako.
Of course, they trust you. Ang galing mo, grabe. So, ano yung maaabangan nila sa inyo at sa mga teammates mo? Yawi mentioned kung ano yung kailangan yung i-adjust pa, di ba? Pero ano yung mainly aabangan namin sa inyo for Season 15?
Abangan nyo na mag-i-improve kami kada series namin at pagbubuti namin yung practice namin. Sana makapasok kami ng playoffs ngayong season.
Sana nga, Hans. Abangan nyo yun.
We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it. The Phoenix Army is also manifesting for it. Gusto ko lang din makuha kasi parang ang dami kong nababasa sa comments na parang ang ganda daw ng laro mo lately, Kusin. No, but I don't know why, pero nababasa mo ba most of the time yung mga nakikita yun sa social media? Minsan ba nakikita mo yung mga comments or focus ka lang talaga sa laro?
Nakikita naman po.
Ano man feel mo whenever you read comments like that?
Nakamotivate po lalo para galingan lagi.
Support, you know, show some love and support naman para sa Phoenix Army at sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa TNC.
Sobrang thank you po sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa TNC. Patuloy niyo lang po supportahan. Abangan niyo, umpisa pa lang to.
Umpisa pa lang to. And it
line.
seems like his teammates...
Abangan niyo rin, victory.
Well, I guess that's it. Your winners, everybody. TNC Pro Team.
Yes!
You may now make your walk of victory. It's been a while since I've said that the Phoenix Army is right there at the middle. And boys, you may now take your bow. Jamie, an incredible performance coming in from TNC Pro Team to get their first win of the season.
I love that. I said it earlier, Hans, ang linis. I'm in awe of their skills and their teamwork as well. Ang galing nila.
I'm just wondering kung ano ba ang naiisip ng ating mga casters. So, casters, it's all
Over to
yours.
you.
Clean and very simple as well on that interview, but I think they're just, you know, they're just warming up for maybe a bigger season, right?
Watch out for more, and they actually specified a particular week. So, I don't know what there's to watch out for.
Yeah, why did Kozen say week 3? What's up with week 3 in TNC? We're going to have to double check that later on.
So we'll check later. For the meantime, your MVP. We've saw it in game 1. Maybe it could happen, but in game 2, it is solid.
Guys, it's Yaoi and his Cho. We can go to the next graphic now. We're no, but, like, come on.
We're done blazing.
The kick he did there at the end of the Kekedot in his base. Kekedot was under tower. Was like, yeah, what you gonna do about it? Yaoi literally just like, he danced in front of him first. He's like, this is what I'm going to do. Sidestep one, shuffle to the next. Flicker, boom, I knocked you up, then I kick you back, and then you get taken down. Yeah, we got taken down too, but that was the pick that opened up the eventual end in victory for TNC Pro Team.
Yes, I'd like to learn the choreography of that.
100%, 100%.
There's some stickers and recalls inserted in between.
Yeah.
But it's a Yaoi thing, really.
That's just it. But not to mention as well his coordination with players like Lord JM to really create these zones of, of these kill boxes, right? That there's just no exit here for AP Brand. That just the consistency in how they're able to pull it off as well is quite amazing.
Yeah, and I'm wondering as to how has the Selena not been able to really make use of the information, like the traps, to its fullest potential? Is it just really just because it's Yaoi and he comes from the most surprising angles? Or it's just that they couldn't really keep up, as we've mentioned earlier?
Yeah, no, it's really just TNC Pro Team had control of everything. Yaoi mentioned in the interview that for game number 2, they really just wanted to make sure they're clean on the macro end, and they did that. It seemed like they were just everywhere. Again, in game number 1, they smothered AP Brand. Game number 2, they just continued that. It's not instant damage that you'll get from Jawhead. It's not a for sure pick-off. There needs to be a follow-up with the Cho, but there was always follow-up. Yaoi sees an opportunity. Lancy or Zyda are already close by to make sure they can make the most out of that opportunity.
For a moment there, I actually thought there was a chance at a comeback here, but then